welcome to Training Tuesday, where we go through weekly tips and tricks to make your career just a little bit more awesome. This week is for my sponges, because we are talking all about taking on too much of other people's stuff. Now, I was on the phone with one of my most empathetic friends last week, and we were catching up, and this topic came up. And we kind of started talking about how she was taking on a little bit of people's stuff in the office. And this is something that's really common for empathetic people, myself included, right? It's so challenging for someone who's inherently empathetic to separate their stuff from other people's stuff. And what was happening for her, and what happens to a lot of people, right, is everything in her career is going great right now, but there's a little bit of a challenge because other people within the company are maybe not in the best headspace. And it's really hard to separate the fact that you're having a great time from this fact that maybe not everyone else is having a great time. And this is a really big challenge for empaths, because at the end of the day, you know that everything's good for you, but it's so hard for you to not feel bummed when everyone else around you is feeling bummed, right? I had that exact same experience, at different points when I was in corporate. And I think it's relatable to a lot of people. And so for any of you emotional sponges, I wanted to talk to you this week, because truth is, at the end of the day, I so get the appeal. Being an empathetic person is great for so many reasons, and it can come with a challenge, right? Because if it's hard for you to separate your stuff from other people's stuff, it's hard to actually enjoy where you're at if things are going well, and that's not what we want. At the end of the day, we want you to be able to separate yourself from others. And in order to do that, you have to start by acknowledging what is your stuff and what isn't your stuff. And so that is my tip for you this week, is any of you emotional sponges, any of you people who can see yourself get caught up in the vibe or, the mentality of how other people are thinking, I want you to remember to ask yourself one thing, which is this mine to take on? Because at the end of the day, that's the most important question. Is this something that I do need to be taking on? Is this something that I've been feeling and that I've been experiencing? Or am I just so greatly empathizing with this other person that it's hard for me to separate, right? So is this mine to be taking on? And then I want you to think about ways to wring out your sponge. So what I mean by that is ways to maybe stop taking on so much of this other stuff. Maybe there is someone in particular you need to spend a little less time with, because maybe it's that one peer in the office who all their negative, water cooler talk is really starting to drain you and make you feel not so good. Maybe you need to give a little room from that person. Or maybe you need to, find healthy ways to manage it, healthy ways to actually wring out that stress. So going for a run or doing something productive, right? But I want you to start to think about ways to wring out that sponge. So are there people I need to be separating myself? Are there things that I need to be doing to manage it? Anything like that. Because I think this is a really important idea, is try and avoid taking on stuff that's not yours, and trying to get rid of the stuff that you've already taken on that's not yours, right? So I want you to begin there, because I think that's a really helpful place to start for any of my sponges out there who are watching this. And I would love to hear from you if this does resonate, because I know it's a common problem that's not talked about all that much. And speaking from someone who's sponged it up in my fair share of times, I see you, right? So if this is coming up for you, let me know. If there is any sort of larger thing that's mounting to that pressure, right? Sometimes that's the case. I'm happy to help you dig in on a free call. That's why I always have my consults, to try and dig into what's coming up for people, what kind of head trash is coming up, and see if coaching could be a fit for them. So if you have any questions about that, or if you feel like you might need some additional support, feel free to shoot me a direct message. Tell me what's up in your career. I'm happy to chat you through it and possibly hop on a call, okay? But start with that, trying to avoid taking on that stuff and trying to wring out the sponges, because I can guarantee if you are operating under all of the other pressures that other people are feeling, you're probably not operating at your best. So begin there, and happy working.